How to be successful contacting experts. First of all, here's the process. You're going to start with creating what we call a hit list. Who are the people you should be contacting related to the specific problem or problems you're going to solve? I like to create a very long, specific hit list, and we can utilize places like marketplaces and email lists that we're a part of and so on and so forth. I'll break that down more specifically here as we go along. Secondly, figuring out your hook. We've used the word hook a lot, and it's that important because it's what attracts people and gets them excited around a concept or around a product. How will you wrap the knowledge of your experts up into something that they are eager to participate in and that customers find irresistible? So first and foremost, our obligation to the hook is with our customers. But when we're leveraging experts, it's super important for us to also consider what would make them excited to be part of, just because it sounds and seems so super duper cool. Third, craft your message. What and how should you approach these experts to get them to say yes to your requests? And finally, making your contacts. How should you contact them? What channels should you use? And what do you need to do to close these deals? Let's break down each one of these processes. When it comes to the hit list, the first place I like to go is to marketplaces. So these are digital marketplaces. Some of these are niche specific. Some of these are in general. JVZoo, for example, if you Google JVZoo, you can see this is a marketplace with lots of information product sellers. And now you can create a list of them by name. ClickBank is another digital marketplace where you can create a list of potential experts that you would like to investigate and consider contacting by name and by niche and by category. Amazon itself, with books in general, and then Kindle specifically, are marketplaces where you can potentially find gobs and gobs and gobs of experts. Another place to get ideas is emails. What list are you on, or which list should you be on? And then those people sending out those communications, hey, they got an email list. That's a good sign, right? And these are people that we should consider contacting potentially who are experts in their message, especially since we see the email and we can read their emails and get an idea of whether they're experts worth contacting or not, and also get an idea of some of the challenges that they may face that we might be able to be helpful with. Local. There is so much money to be made here, it's not even funny. If you go to marketplaces like JVZoo and ClickBank and Kindle and you see these selling books and info products that already exist, you just can ask yourself, is there a local expert I can contact that I could pay some money and record, and now I have a product? You would be amazed at all the expertise that is within a 10 or 15 mile radius from where you currently live right now, especially once you understand how to identify problems like we talked about in Module 1. You can now sit down and specifically work and focus with those individuals to take their expertise, put it in the framework, and then get it out there and sell it. Social. What blogs, YouTube channels, and other types of followings in social networks that have experts associated as personalities to those followings that you can potentially track down because they have influence and obviously they have something to offer if people are following them. Can we bottle that expertise up and leverage it? So that's how we create our hit list. Once we've created the hit list, now we have to craft the message. The first thing you want to do is personalize it. 80% of your message can be cookie cutter, but 20% of your message should show them that you're specifically aware of their problems and you're helpful and you come bearing good news. Now, it's one thing to say, hey, your zipper's down, you should zip it up. That's a problem you're aware of, but that doesn't create a situation where somebody's excited if you're a complete stranger and you go up and tell them that. Excited to like, hey, let's do business together now, right? So you have to be a lot more covert in being aware of their problems. So you don't necessarily say, hey, this is your problem, I can solve you. You basically say, listen, I don't know if it's important to you that insert thing that's perfectly suited for their problem. However, if you got behind this, I think that this could work in your advantage. See what I did there? It's very powerful stuff. You can get very clever with this. So say, for example, you discovered that their child had autism and you were working a thing where all the promotion you did, 10% of the proceeds went to an autism foundation. And then you just casually mentioning that, acting like you don't know that their child had autism. And now all of a sudden it can become very powerful when you say, listen, I'm open to having our contributors choose between one of these three foundations to back. I don't know which one we're going to back yet, but here's one of them, autism. Boom. Now that's too tricky for me personally. I don't do that kind of stuff, but I can't deny its power. It's very powerful. So this is how you covertly, by being aware of their problems, craft messages that are perfectly at the heart of being music to their ears. That's what I always think. What can I say in a short amount of time that is music to somebody's ears that I'm talking to? And this goes with the second point, in a way that transcends financial considerations. Because a lot of these people, especially people that already are making a lot of money, making more money on its own is not enough. What problem can you solve for them personally so they would promote you even if they didn't make a single cent? This is a great question, because here's the great thing, is if people are take a chance on you and promote you and work with you and it doesn't make money, that's a lot of risk on their part, right? But if you can do something for them above and beyond, then anything that they make as a result is just icing on the cake. So I'll give you a very specific example. There's a very powerful person in our market that does Amazon selling, and we're the number one affiliate for selling products on Amazon, physical products, right? But this guy is very loyal to one of our competitors because that guy hooked him up with a freight forwarder. So for his business that imports products from China, he needed a good freight forwarder, and the competitor of ours got to him and hooked him up with his freight forwarder. Now, this is something so ridiculously simple, but he solved that gentleman's problem with freight forwarding, and it doesn't matter that he makes less money working with that guy, but he feels obligated to work with that guy simply because that guy solved a problem that he had that transcended money. And there's lots of those problems. So when I look at situations, I say, how can we work together in a way that even if they don't make money, it's still a good deal for them? So any money that they make is considered icing on the cake. So consider that when you craft your message. Here's the other thing. Be pithy at first. If somebody sends me a long message, the chances of me actually reading it are almost nil. If it's like 5 pages of crap, I mean, it could be the greatest thing in the world, but I look at 5 pages and I feel sick. I skip it completely. But if it's 2 sentences or 5 sentences or 10 sentences, the chance of it being read are about 100%. So you say, well, gee, Jason, what can I do in 5 sentences or 10 sentences to get my message across? You start with a small commitment. You don't try to get the close on contact number 1. So contact number 1 is, listen, I got this thing going on. I think it'd be perfect for you because X, Y, and Z, although, heck, I don't know. If you're interested, let me know and I can provide more information to you. So your first commitment is just to say, get a yes, I'm interested. And then you can be longer in going into the specific details. First contact is to get them to ask for more. The first contact you make with these individuals is simply to get them eager, excited, interested, and intrigued to respond to you and request the information. Now, when they request it, it changes the whole dynamics because they're asking something of you, not you asking something of them anymore. And then on that second contact, you can start to begin the closing process. Sometimes you close them right there. Sometimes you have to follow up. So most people will ignore you the first time, even if you got the greatest message in the world with the greatest solution for them. They just ignore you. So it takes a second time. And sometimes a third time. You'll have to use your discretion of when to do second and third. Or you should always do a second time if they ignore you the first time. But then you'll have to use your discretion whether you do a third time or not. Or a fourth time or not, right? Now, even after they say yes, some of them will still ignore you. So they'll say, yes, I'm totally for it. This sounds like the greatest thing in the world. And then they drop off the face of the earth. So you have to be prepared to follow up with them as well. Some of them will say yes and not attempt to ignore you, but they'll just forget to respond to you. So they don't do it intentionally, but it still happens nonetheless. At the end of the day, most of this stuff that we do online to make money is dogged, consistent pursuit. That is one of the best traits you could ever have, is just consistently pursuing and moving forward constantly, even if it's by an inch, every single day. That can be very powerful to you. So consider these when you craft your message. Everybody wants to know the perfect message. Jason, just give me the 3-word phrase. Doesn't exist. Every market is different. Every person is different. Every person you're contacting, it's different. So have your core message that titillates and gets them excited and intrigued and interesting for the segment of experts you're going after. Take the extra little bit to get them even more intriguing, related to them specifically, with a little bit of insight that you have something that's valuable for them, way above and beyond just the financial transactions that you guys can do together. And then get them to ask you and be interested in knowing more from you. And then once they get that commitment or they show that interest, be very consistent. Be thorough, yet be pleasant and exciting to get contacted from, but still consistent nonetheless. Now here's a very important thing that deserves its own slide. Super duper important. You always understand this. Never should you add stress or complexity to their life. Your goal is to reduce stress and simplify their life, not to add stress and complexity to their life. So before you ever send any message to any one of these people, for the first several times you do this, ask yourself, is this message I'm about to send to them adding stress or complexity to their life? Or is it reducing stress and simplifying their life? Because if it's not, you need to fix that. And, the minute I have to think of solutions to other people's problems is a moment they add stress and complexity to my life. Now, if you come to me with the solution and I don't have to think about it, now you're simplifying my life and reducing stress. And that's true for everybody. When you contact them, how can you do that? You say, well, DJ said, I know what to say to them now, but how do I actually reach them? Email. A lot of people, their email address is pretty easy to find. If you want to go to who.is, it's a website, so who.is, and you put in any URL, then you can usually see their information of the person who registered that domain, including the email. If they locked it down with privacy, then get on their email list if they have one and hit reply to the email that they send out. And that usually will get to them as well. Or go to their website. And sometimes they have an email address straight up on their website, and you can contact them that way. That's just a few of many ways that you can find somebody's email. Number 2 is Facebook. Become friends with them and then message them, or don't even have to be friends and you can message them. Start liking their posts and commenting on them, and then friend them, and then message them. Skype. So if you can get them to add you to Skype, or if you see their Skype name that exists out there, or heck, just look them up one day on Skype. That one can be tricky if you just add somebody to Skype out of the blue. It depends on the individual. But Skype is a very powerful tool that you could potentially do. You can also ask somebody else for their Skype as an introduction, or email, or Facebook. YouTube, you can direct message somebody or leave a comment on their YouTube channel. Support, if they have a support link on their website or their blog or wherever. And then referral, just purely getting other people to make an introduction for you. Those are 6 ways that you can get to somebody to get your message to them. Here are some additional things that you can do that can greatly influence your outcome. Now, some of these are hard and take a lot of effort, but man, the rewards are insane if you could pull them off. Favor first. Solve a problem without telling them you're going to solve it. Then, only after you solve it, let them know you solved their problem. This way that you started off with great news. So, for example, if their site was compromised, say it was hacked or it was unsecure, and you can stop this exploit in advance, and you email them and say, listen, there's a flaw in your site that's allowing people to post over here. Here's the workaround for it. And then you just say, copy and paste this in here, and it solves that. That's pretty powerful. Now, you haven't been able to solve it for them. So that's one example. A better example even would be when people were spreading misinformation about them on a forum or in a Facebook group. And you came in there and you cleared the air up and you got other people to admit that they were wrong. Then you screenshot that and you can send that over to somebody. And then you can say, oh, by the way, I got an idea that as I'm typing this to you, it might be worth your while. It's something I'm working on. If you're interested, let me know. Favor first. Money first. Promote them. Connect them before asking something for them, or somehow other positively influence money in their direction. Make them money first, and it's the easiest thing in the world. Pay them money. just to talk to them. It's the easiest thing in the world and very often the simplest way to get started. Third, paradigm shift. Create a situation where they contact you first. Then while you have them, you say, oh, by the way. So ask yourself this question. The people that I like to influence, how can I get them to contact me first? So write a really good review of their product on Facebook and then tag them in it. Or do something helpful for one of the people that they look up to or that they're friends with. Figure out ways that you can be in places that they're at and do things that are impressive to them. So that way that they're open to reaching out to you, and some of them will. And then if you happen to reach out to them because you get tired of them waiting, or you get tired of waiting for them to reach out to you, then at least you've warmed it up. So all of these factors can influence your outcomes when you go to contact these experts with your message of benefit to them.